All right, guys, welcome back into another NBA DFS video. Got the preseason picks for 12-17. So another solid night last night. Julius Randle did well. Kobe White and Zach LaVine really elevated a solid day or solid night for 9 to 5 there. Really, the only disappointment on the whole slate was Harry Giles. I didn't get that much run, but other than that, pretty spot on. So we look to continue that today. So let's get into the picks for today. It is a bigger slate, so we'll be trying to keep the video as short as possible. So, kind of quicker takes here, just because I don't want to get this video too long for you guys. All right, so we're going to be starting off with Charlotte versus Orlando. We're going to be starting off with Charlotte. So honestly, I don't really love anything too much in this game specifically. Really, the only player that I'm looking at on the Hornets side of the ball, to me, is going to be PJ Washington. He's really been the only one that has played well for the Hornets this preseason, and he's been getting consistent minutes. Each of the starters for the Hornets are right around 20 minutes in their first game, and then in their second game, that kind of elevated up to around 25 minutes or so, and it seemed really thought out, though. Everyone's minutes were right around the same, so I would expect them, the starters here, to get a little bit more run, and if that occurs, I actually do really like PJ Washington. We look at what he did down the stretch last season. He was actually a little bit more consistent down the stretch. I think he's kind of going to be their go-to guy. If you guys want to play LaMelo there as well, you can. He's a little bit too cheap for kind of the minutes he's been playing. I could see that he's getting up a lot of shot attempts. If he gets a little bit hot, he could do something as well. Moving on into the other side of the ball here, we got Orlando Magic. So I actually really do like Markelle Fultz. I think he's going to be one of my kind of go-to plays. He's a guy that has played pretty well in this preseason thus far. He had 25 minutes in their first game and then 31 minutes in their second game, which that could be the only reason that we hesitate with him, that he might not get all those minutes that he had prior. Now, they are a little bit banged up there on the injury report. So the injury report is actually going to be huge for the Magic there. We really got to see which players are going to be active and which players are going to be inactive here, because that can make a difference between value or not value. And I think that's part of the reason why a lot of the starters saw 30 minutes. I would expect them to see right around 25 minutes, but I really like Markelle Fultz. You could actually play Michael Carter-Williams, MCW. He's actually been getting a decent amount of his run as well. He's a guy that kind of checks all the boxes stat-wise, rebounds, assists, points. Nothing ever elite, but always like good enough. I think he would hit value at that price point. And then Vucevic I actually really do like as well. This is a pretty easy matchup for him. So even if he plays like freaking 20 minutes, he should be able to get there to like 35 DK points. You probably get a double-double there, but you're going to be paying up for it. So move on into the Detroit versus Washington game. Once again, on this side of the ball, nothing that I like that much. Killian Hayes here, really going to be the only one that I think I want to go out of my way to get, but right now it doesn't feel that good. The Pistons have struggled offensively, guys, so far in the preseason. They scored 84 and 99 points. They're just not that good of a team, in all honesty, but Killian Hayes, he did play 25 minutes in their first game, 21 in their second game. I would expect him to get the most run out of anyone on the Detroit Pistons side of the ball. Blake Griffin, he'll probably do well enough for you, but nothing that I want to go crazy with. I just really like the price point for him. So if he gets a decent amount of minutes, he should easily be able to exceed that price point. But it's really nothing to really love on the Detroit side of the ball. So we'll move on to the Washington side of the ball, because there's a decent amount that I like here. So we got to see the injury news here. Is Westbrook going to play? We have to wait and see. You never really know. Ish is probably going to be out. So Raul Neto could actually be in for a decent amount of run once again today. He played a decent amount in their first two games, or in their first game. They've only had one game. He played 25 minutes, had 17 points, 6 assists, 1 steal. He played pretty well. And for that price point, that actually does make a lot of sense. So if Westbrook is out, he might be the one that you want to go with. And look at that. Bradley Beal, I'm fine with. I don't think we have to go crazy with that. But he should get 25 minutes. He sat in their first game. 8.3 is a little bit too much for me to pay up for. Danny Avid, I had it earlier. I even watched the video on how to say his name. I apologize. Struggling with it right now, but I really think he's going to be a strong player. He's a player that I liked a decent amount. Just kind of looking over a little bit of the highlights from that game. 15 points, 2 assists, 4 rebounds, 24 minutes. He was really standing out to me. And at that price point, that's something I really like, especially with both of the starters looking like they could be inactive. That might almost be a lock play for us today on the slate. Moving on to the Spurs side of the ball. The Spurs, there's nothing that I love, but there's nothing that I hate on the Spurs side of the ball. So the Spurs, you could roll with someone like Lonnie Walker, who Played a decent amount in the last game, played well. 26 minutes, 17 points. We like that. I would expect him to get a decent amount of run once again in this one. DeJounte Murray, I would expect him to get right around 25 minutes. At this price point, that's not going to hurt you. Nothing you want to go out of your way really to get. Vassell here, he has actually been playing a decent amount. At 4.4, I think that's a little bit worth the risk. Don't go crazy with it, obviously. I'm fine with that. And then on the Houston side of the ball, interesting. Just James Harden probably should play a little bit more in this one, I would expect, but John Wall, I don't expect to play too much in this one. Right around 25 minutes for those guys, especially the Marcus Cousins as well. Probably going to get right around 25 minutes. I would expect really on the Houston side of the ball, I think some of the younger guys are going to get a little bit more run in this one. I don't know. It's just kind of a gut feeling that I have. Obviously, if Wall does play right around 25 minutes at that price point, he's still a little bit too cheap. Cousins played really well in his last game as well. Over 30 DK points for him. All right, so just looking at the next game here, Atlanta versus Memphis. We'll start off with Atlanta. I actually really do like the Hawks players or Hawks stars in this one. Clint Capella is going to be a strong play. Trae Young is going to be a strong play, and John Collins is going to be a strong play. They all saw right around 22 minutes in their first game. Then they saw right around 30 minutes, which is something that if we're going to get starters to get 30 minutes, especially those three guys, that's something that I really do like. So Trae Young going to be a stellar play, even at 8.5. I still think that's going to be a strong play. If he's going to get 30 minutes, especially against the Grizzlies, that is something that we do like to see. Some of the starters are Rondo, Chris Dunn, they're not going to play, so that should mean that Trae Young will still get a decent amount of run here. Lots of injury news there on that side of the ball as well that we have to monitor, but John Collins I absolutely love as a play as well. He should probably get a double-double in this one. Just been a stellar play. I do think Clint Capella is going to take away some production from him throughout the season, but we just haven't seen that yet. Clint Capella is considered probable right now. You saw right around 27 minutes in the last game at 5.5, a guy that's probably going to get a double-double. That's going to be a little bit too cheap for me to pass up on in this slate. Moving on to the Memphis side of the ball, not much that I like. John Morant, I do like as a play. He should get a decent amount of run in this one, probably right around 25 minutes like he had seen the two prior games. So that is something that we like to see. But really, 8.7 for a guy that's probably going to get right around 25 minutes. Nothing that you really want to go crazy with. Obviously, he can get there. We know the type of player John Morant is. And same thing with Valanciunas. Really, all he needs is 20 minutes, especially in this matchup, to be able to go out and really dominate. He's a guy where we've seen him be super productive on limited minutes throughout his career as well. So, those are riskier plays. I get the appeal, especially if you're trying to game stack, but don't go crazy with it. Moving on to Minnesota versus Dallas. So we'll start off on the Minnesota side of the ball. Once again, not much that I like in this one. Not enough information on the point guard or shooting guard spot to really determine who's going to be playing there. Looking at really Karl Anthony Towns is really the only play that I think we could try to play. He saw 27 minutes in their first game, and then he came back and played 22 minutes. I don't know. It seems like mostly a stay away for me unless we get more news on that game. But I do really like Luka here for the Mavericks. I think he's going to be a strong play tonight. I think he's going to get it right around 25 minutes. Still at 9.0. That is still, priced up a decent amount. In their last game, he did see right around 29 minutes as well. Played really well there, obviously. 27 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. I don't mind it as a play. Nothing that I think we should really go crazy with. That's really it that I like for Dallas. All right, so moving on to the Golden State side of the ball. Steph Curry, I do like a ton. Actually, I just like this game a ton. So we got Steph Curry, De'Aaron Fox. Going to be strong plays for you there. You look at kind of the minutes from last game. The starters did not play as much as I was sort of expecting in that one. They really split the minutes up a ton. But I did say, hey, if it's not going to be De'Aaron Fox, it's going to be Kyle Guy. Kyle Guy had a pretty strong night in that previous game. And I could see the younger guns on the Kings side of the ball getting a little bit more run in this one as well. Starters will probably get right around 25 minutes. And I think the same rules apply in this game that applied in the last game as well. And we'll say Marquise Chris did play well in the last game against the Kings. Only played right around 20 minutes, but had 17 points, 9 rebounds, and he has kind of just been a point per minutes player throughout his whole career. So, at 5.5, that is a little bit priced up, but it's nothing that's going to kill you too much. So Curry and Chris and then Fox are really the ones that I like on that game. And then moving on into Utah versus the Clippers. So another game where I don't think that we should go crazy with it too much. The Utah side of the ball, the Stars didn't play all that much at all in their first game, but then their second game, they played right around 27 minutes. So if they're going to be getting 27 minutes, then yeah, these guys are going to be good plays. Donovan Mitchell is going to be someone that you want to go with. Rudy Gobert, though, I think I like the most. Just given the matchup here at 7.1, if he's going to get right around 27 minutes, I do expect him to get a double-double, and I think he could really crush that salary there. So he would be a play that I would want to get on, but there's a lot of quality, solid center plays on the slate, and it's nothing that we should go crazy with. I mean, that's the theme of today's video. And then Clippers side of the ball, they've been really splitting their minutes as well. They've been really going deep in that bench starters, bench players. No one's really seen over 22 minutes, so they're really splitting it up. If you're trying to find a deep value play, maybe we go with Terrence Mann. Maine played 20 minutes each of the last 2 games. Been doing decent, 10 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists in their last game. Don't love it, though. All right, so let's do a quick build for you guys, and then we'll be getting out of here. So kind of going through my favorite plays on this slate. So PJ Washington, I did think he's going to be a good play at that price point. That is something that I do like, a ton. So Trae Young, like him, even at 8.5, I think that's a little bit too cheap, but I also really do like Markelle Fultz. And then let's see here. Vooch, I still kind of want to pay up for, even though he's priced up a decent amount. Killian Hayes, at 4.7, I think he's just one of the better value plays that we're going to get on this slate, just in general. So he's going to be a guy that I pay up for. Then what's unfortunate is that I did want to pay up for Clint Capella. Probably won't be able to do that. So instead, I'll be going with John Collins in that forward spot. So we don't have that much to finish out this build, but, you easily could. There's some decent, mid price point plays. MCW, I don't mind. So let's finish it out here with maybe Kyle Anderson, maybe Rudy Gay. Rudy Gay had a big game in his last game. So, don't mind this approach tonight, but obviously gonna have to tidy it up a little bit as the day goes on. All right, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a like and subscribe. I do appreciate that. We'll be coming out with a Thursday night football showdown video as well as the core plays for this upcoming weekend NFL. So if you guys are still watching this video, definitely go ahead and check out those other videos as well. All right, thanks guys, and as always, let's keep cashing.